will be a planet of apes.
War for the Planet of the Apes is the latest installment in the Planet of the Apes trilogy, and is the last installment, and stars Andy Serkis as Caesar, as Caesar's apes and the humans are finally at war. The human side is diminishing and is led by a fringe group leader, played by Woody Harrelson, that seeks to destroy all apes. And it's an all-out war that actually has a lot more hidden meanings and a lot more deeper messages than I previously thought it was going to have. Going into this movie, I had only seen one trailer, and that's it. One trailer. That's all it took for me to go see this movie. If it hadn't already been apparent by now, I really liked Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and so I was really looking forward to this final installment of the franchise, of this trilogy, this prequel trilogy. Do I like it? Well, I'd have to go as far as to say it's one of this year's best films. This film has a lot of heart. This film has a lot of action. Not a lot of action. It's pretty much bookended by action. But this film also has some deeper sentiments. It has a lot of commentary about human behavior. It has a lot of commentary about, a lot of historical parallels as well to, like, the Holocaust and a bunch of other different things. But there's so much more that goes on in this film as it goes along that I started to feel like this is a really good film. Part of the genius of why I think this is this year's best film is that it relies way less on exposition. You don't get a lot of exposition, because in the previous two films you had that. This one you didn't need it, because it was slowly apparent that we were going to get to that point where humankind would be almost fully extinct. And we learn more about, human behavior in this type of scenario in the form of Woody Harrelson's character and how he behaves in front of his troops, how he behaves in front of everyone else. His behavior is marred by, his own past. And he has kind of a nice little parallel to Caesar in this film. Caesar also fears that with his path in the film, he's turning into the person that he killed in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, or Koba. And Koba was the one that started this whole war in the first place. So he feared that he was going to become like Koba. But I'm not going to give away too much of the story, because there's just so much in this story that I should just leave out of this review. Even if I ever do, another video on this, I'm not going to spoil most of anything. Andy Serkis in this film does a really great job playing Caesar once again. He is truly a master of motion capture. And might I also add that the motion capture of this film is stunning. It is one of the best uses of motion capture I have seen in a film since The Jungle Book. It's really good, and the technology for this motion capture stuff has really advanced. There's moments in this film where I thought the motion capture wasn't going to look so good, but it really did look good. It's certain shots that I thought it was going to be bad, but it was really good. The lights and shadows is really well done, and the touch-ups are really great. And it's so good to see. There's also some other side characters that get introduced, like Bad Ape, and I thought initially when I first saw him, he was going to become a kind of a nuisance in the film, but as the film goes on, he actually started to grow on me. He wasn't that annoying. He wasn't an annoying character in the film, like, say, Jar Jar Binks. He's a comic relief, but he never got any bit annoying. Everyone in my audience actually laughed when, he did his sort of joke stuff. But he kind of has a sad backstory too, which I won't get into because spoilers. Let's see. As far as the writing goes, this is a pretty well written piece. As I said before, there's hardly any exposition scenes. There's maybe one or two, but it solely relies on either sign language or just little tiny bits of dialogue. And that's rare for a blockbuster movie to have nowadays, because a lot of movies tend to need to have the tendency to have a lot of exposition and not enough of the character stuff, not enough of the silent story bits. Sometimes the best types of stories are the things that we just see and not hear. There's moments in this movie where, you know, it's really well done. There's no dialogue in most of the scenes. And there's even like this really cool moment in the middle of the movie, which I won't spoil much, but it involves Caesar and the little girl that's always in the posters and the marketing for the film. There's a nice scene between them towards the middle of the movie, and it's really well done. I think it's probably one of my favorite scenes of this entire franchise, really. As far as negatives go, I think there's maybe a couple bits of coincidental things, like, oh, well, you know, the people that go here, oh, they're here instead, that we thought we were going to go over here, and yeah, there's a couple instances of coincidence in this film, but other than that, I don't have too many problems with it. Again, it's a near-perfect masterpiece that everyone is saying that it is a near-perfect masterpiece, and after seeing the film, I kind of have to agree with him. It truly is one of those rare things for a blockbuster movie to do. Because, again, we get used to this whole environment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC Comics, where everything has to be explained to us. But sometimes the best types of storytelling in a blockbuster film is the quieter moments. And there's some really good moments in this film that is like that. And I fully appreciate this film for doing it. I think what Matt Reeves does with the direction of the film, he does it really well. And I think it's a great piece to watch. This film is definitely going to be in my top best films of the year list. I'm trying to make sure I have all of them intact, but this is definitely going to be in my top 5. I'm still trying to debate what's my favorite of the year, but, you know, we still got like 5 months ahead of us, but, you know, whatever. So, with that being said, I'm going to give War for the Planet of the Apes an A+. Thank you guys so much for watching my review of War for the Planet of the Apes. Check back next week for Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, Dunkirk, and The Fifth Element to lead up to Valerian, which is going to be fun. And I hope you guys all tune in next week for the next video. Peace out.